What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Lumsden Motorsports Garage. I'm Wade Lumsden.
Chris Lumsden.
Don't know if you could have heard that all the way over there, but we are going to be working on the T-bar today. So before, I think I was getting super crazy and trying to over-engineer this thing, and decided to dumb it down and go a whole lot simpler than what I was gonna do. But yeah, that's what we're gonna, since my brother is here, that's who said I'm Chris Lumsden way off in the distance. Since he is here, I'm gonna go ahead and put him to welding work, and we're gonna
Surprise.
make a new front T-bar, make a new back T-bar, and hopefully move on with our life. So with that being said, let's get to work. Alrighty, so the first bar we made for the front sitting over there, getting painted, but this is kind of what we're working on now. We decided to make this a solid piece. Tis is using lining it up with where the original bar was, to kind of get us an angle, but in the end this is actually going to be the top portion so that we can weld it flat to the square bar, the top piece of square right there, and that should flatten out this top deck, which will allow us to use that aluminum breakaway piece that we got, because the way this thing's designed, it needs to have a angle to sit on there, and then it's got to be nice and square with that piece. And yeah, so that's what Tiss is working on right now, making that all happy doodles. Here is our front T-bar. As you can see, we added a tab. This will be the right front of the car. We added a tab in a way that I can come back and put a piece of aluminum angle between where this mounts and right there to help give that just a little bit more support, so we don't have that crazy dip down. Because shockingly enough, that wasn't like a big impact or anything that actually originally bent that. That was just, you know, a little bump.
And they got scared.
Yeah, somebody got too close and it got scared. So but we'll go a little bit more over how the T-bars were built and all of that jazz. For now, I'm just going to continue to let Tiss do his thing.
Hurry up so I can make noise.
So back to work. All right, guys, so we got the basis of our T-bar here. Nothing amazingly special. Looks like regular T-bar, except for we decided to cut it short here so that we can use this fancy schmancy device there, which we will have to shorten up, obviously. Whoop.
Trying to hold it up the whole time, and the last second I messed it up.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what we did is we actually, I told you I wanted some up and down adjustment. You know, I wanted to do some cool fancy schmancy, like this twist on its own, and Heim joints or adjuster nut, or, you know, get super crazy with it. But then I was like, you know what, Wade, you're being dumb. You adjust it, but you don't really adjust it that much. So what we did is now we have multiple holes here. I'm going to pull this up and out. Multiple holes to be able to put it in, and we drilled them in line, right? And then, as you can tell, we rounded the bottom here to give ourselves some more clearance to be able to drop that down in. So what's kind of cool about this is it's like a two-fold adjustment. We did it on this side, and we also did it on that side over there. So what's cool about that is if I lift up this side one hole, that lifts this side, drops that side. If I lift this side up one hole, that lifts this side, drops this side. And then, you know, both up a hole, both down a hole, of course, lifts and drops both sides. So it gave us a little bit of teeter-totter, if you will, which is kind of the case when you come in on tech, right? Usually because of the 4-link suspension, the left rear of the car is jacked up way high from driving it forward, and most guys have to wiggle their car to get the rear end to settle down. When they tech this stuff, most of the time they tech it on the high side. So our maximum is 38 inches. If we go to the extreme with the way my car's sitting, I lifted it up and kind of simulated the suspension not being completely loaded, but, you know, loaded up a little bit. Like without me in the car, it was 38 and a 16th or 38 and a quarter. You put me on the car, it dropped it down to 37 and 3/4. So and that's with,
how many inches is that?
Jesus. And that's with us trying to get the left rear portion of the bar up as high as we possibly can. So we did that, decided to go with the cool aluminum bracket for the breakaway on the right rear. We're going to see how that works with the setup, but we only have a couple more little things that we're going to do. Kind of like with our front bar that we did here. We welded a tab, so now I'm going to be able to take a piece of angle and bolt it here and bolt it here, just to give this just a little bit more support. It's basically going to be the same thing on the back side here. We're going to end up welding a tab probably somewhere in this ballpark here, and welding a tab somewhere in this ballpark up here, so that I can run a piece of angle aluminum to help support that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up in my book writing the distance from hole to hole for those little brackets, so that I know how the distance that it needs to be kind of flat if that ever gets bent up and we gotta tweak on it and all that other happy stuff. And then I'll probably have a spare piece of angle made and in the trailer to be able to replace that. This thing is a bear. Every time you move it, the stuff that you're moving around gets all messed up. But so we'll do that, and then just like this, we're going to take some gussets. They make gussets that have 1/2-inch holes. We'll do the exact same mounting method there, and it should work. You know, this actually worked out pretty well because I ended up buying 2 pieces of square tube, 2 10-foot pieces of square tube, and we only used one because we got to shorten up this one here. We didn't have to cut into a second piece, so now I have one 10-foot piece of 1/4-inch square tube left to be able to make spares and things like that. And then the other cool thing is we were able to repurpose. You can tell this one's got some holes. We were able to repurpose some of the old bar where it was straight and use those for our downs. So, you know, being able to make spare parts for in the future is freaking awesome. We'll keep working on this. I know Tiss is raring to go home. Yeah, he wants to go home real bad. He was at work all day, and then he's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, hey, I'm getting ready to work on a race car. What are you doing? He's like, oh, I just got off work. And I was like, hey, you're coming by my house, right? I'll buy you lunch.
Yeah.
How'd that work out for you? I almost owe you dinner.
Well, I was gonna say, what was lunch? 5
hours ago? Yeah. So we put a little bit more effort into doing it this way, and you know, he cut this at an angle to help try to have this sit a little bit flatter, but in the end I think it's worth it. I was way overthinking it, trying to make my own version of like the Weir's deal, and I don't know. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, especially for a piece like that normally gets trashed. Like, if they last a season, I'm extremely happy.
And probably would only get adjusted twice in the whole time you own the car.
Right. I mean, that's very true too. You put it within legal limits, and then it's good to go, right? But I think the only reason why I really wanted it like this is it did happen to me once. Yeah. I made some adjustments, and I put, like, I was really throwing the kitchen sink at this car, and it ended up putting me over the height by a 1/2 inch during a heat race, and it lost me my qualifying spot and put me into a B main instead of a transfer spot. And you know, I managed to battle back, which was great, but like, it can dig you a hole real quick if that happens to be what they check. So I just wanted to make sure that I had the ability to be way down within the rules, and not have to worry about it. But I do want my deck height up as much as I can get it, right, to try to get that advantage, you know. I like to toe the line, but I like to toe the line here, not here. You know what I mean? Like,
there's some guys that have it down to the exact 1/4 gallon the fuel they put in there to make sure they make weight.
Yeah.
That's if you don't run a bunch of extra yellows and this and that. And,
Yeah.
but,
I'm not that kind of guy. We're not those kind of guys. So, anyways,
rough estimation of a tough guesstimation, and we're usually close enough.
yeah, yeah, it'll work. So, we're gonna let Tis go. I'm gonna continue on here. Some of that stuff is probably gonna get welded in place at a later time because I don't necessarily need the supports and stuff until later. So, yeah, we're gonna move on with life, and I'll be back with you. Alrighty, new day here, but I kind of started moving forward with putting deck panels on. You can see that I worked on getting the pieces notched so they'll sit down where they need to go. Squaring up this portion, I used the old filler panel because I haven't made a new one yet, but I used the old filler panel and I shoved it up here in place, and then I made sure that it went down in place and came out just fine. Originally when I shoved this in here, everything was kind of cockeyed to one side, which made it real tight, and it was running into the bar and didn't want to come in and out really well. So make sure you're checking that out. Granted, if you're making a brand new body, I guess you're going to make it, you know, you're going to make it to fit. So the only other big pain in the butt thing about starting to assemble is peeling the plastic. You know, I try to leave as much plastic on there to protect it as long as possible, but make sure you're peeling the back side of your plastic before you do your bends and anywhere where you're gonna have stuff come together. So like this, I'm gonna need to peel this portion right here of this piece of deck before I get under here and put pop rivets in to pinch them together. That's how the seams here are gonna go, pinch together. Same thing here, pinch together. I hate doing that. I hate crawling under there and actually doing that. It's part of the reason why I went with the outer panels that I do now, which is these, where there's only the outside lip, right? So now this will set here, and then this overlaps on the top like that. I think I've gone over this in another video, but the other thing I've noticed, and I'm going to continue to use this for this style for that purpose, is when you get into a wreck and all of this gets crumpled up, if you only put a handful of pop rivets to hold this down, it pops loose and you don't end up with a just completely wadded panel, and it usually saves this inner panel as well, because you should use a pop rivet that breaks away, right? It's got the little slices in this, so this is an exploding rivet. It's an aluminum one, so it's really easy for it to break. So that's what I've been doing. Going through and doing all of my clearances for my pipes. You can tell that is not amazing work, but I don't have cool, you know, like the cool little clipper shears. I'm just using a regular pair of shears to make my round holes. So and then go back and I hit it with a file or whatever I can to try to get rid of the really sharp edge stuff. So that's what I'm doing now. Getting the deck put in place, which is like that's a big thing. Still have this one to clearance and get put in place, and then I think as far as clearancing for roll bars, it's that one and then just the middle front one up here for clearancing for that roll bar. So, and then most of it just slaps together real quick and easy. I do wish I had a bead roller. I would love to put a bead roller lines down these to help stiffen them up a little bit as well. That'd be kind of cool, but that is not the case. So we're gonna move on with what we got. One thing I decided to do here, you can see I got this piece here. It was attached here down to the cage and then up to that piece of top deck there. That's supposed to be a support for right here to help, you know, because I'm a big dude and, and it's supposed to help support that when I get in and out of the car. But as you can see, this one was actually fairly new, didn't have a whole lot of races on it, and you can see how quick that it wears out when you just use a piece of sheet metal like you do for your body. So I'm trying something a little different. I went and got myself a piece of 16 gauge steel here, just from Home Depot. Put a couple little bends in it, and I'm gonna attach this here, and hopefully that'll be a nice, good, really solid deal. I'm gonna probably end up putting pop rivets, 4 pop rivets in, and then it'll end up getting bolted through here, because this is the point where my body mounts, and I think I'm gonna come through, maybe if there's enough clearance on the backside. This is roll bar here, so but if there's enough clearance on the backside, I might go ahead and put a bolt in the bottom side of this as well. So just something that a little upgrade, I guess. So hopefully that piece don't wear out, because I noticed after a handful of races it started to bow and sag every time I tried to get in, and just wasn't what I wanted. So I wanted to show you guys that. Moving on. Most of the hard part is done for the deck. I still have all of these pieces that I make that are flat. I just need a couple pop rivets there, and of course I need to mount downwards here, but most of this is finished. I am starting to rethink when I lengthen this panel. It's kind of an ugly seam back here because of it, but it's still going to be okay. It's going to look really good from the stands. So last little piece that I got to do is get under here and attach the pinch between these two pieces. But most of the deck is finished. Now I did set this piece up in place just to kind of see what was going on. So there's that channel piece underneath there. This piece got a 90, makes it nice and solid, and then another little cover piece that ends up getting slid in there and put down, kind of make that look all nice and pretty. But I just have that setting in place. Like I said, we talked about me needing to get in here and service the brake pedal assembly. So with this out of the way, there's a lot more room to do that. But I wanted to show you guys that basically the top deck is done. So got the top deck finished. I still got to make a filler panel here. Worst case scenario, I can always use the old one, but I would like to make a new one. And then let's see here, what else do we got? We got sail panels, the big sail panels. Those are really easy to make. I think I'm gonna adjust the size on these, but the way I make them, they only have one break at the top, and then the rest of it is just cutting out the shape. So that makes them pretty flexible for when they take damage, and for when you're trying to get that curve in there. If you put too many bends and breaks in it, it makes it really solid. And then of course body panels are made, but like I said, the hanging of the body panel, whether I'm going to bring the body panel out to here again or leave it sucked in, that'll determine whether I change my A-pillars. So after that, we got a roof. I think I want to do a roof, and then hood and nose. Now I decided to go the route of buying a front bumper. So got to hold off on doing the nose until my front bumper comes in, because really, as you guys have seen in the past, the front bumper is what holds my nose on, really. So yeah, making headway. Would really like to start getting a little bit more headway made faster, you know, but so far I'm happy with what I've got. This is really solid, and all I've got is 4 pop rivets in it, so I'm happy with that little piece there. Yeah, things are moving along. It is Sunday. I do have a family event to go to, so we're pretty much going to be done for today. But man, we have 2 weeks. Oh yeah, just under 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday, before we go race. So, and that includes the tough truck too. So there's some stuff I want to do for the tough truck. We got to get this car completely finished, and have enough time to get some stickers and stuff put on it too, right? So, whew, gonna be hurry. Hopefully I can get all, if not most of it, on film and move forward from there. So we're gonna, because I'm sure this video has gotten really long, we're gonna end it here. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Any questions, comments, concerns, down below. Lumsden Motorsports Facebook page. If you want a Lumsden Motorsports Win the Show, Be the Show t-shirt, reach out to me there. We'll get it figured out. And yeah, since my brother's not here, keep the dirty side down, and we'll talk to you next time.